Hello, word lovers, and welcome to Hello Word. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we explore another fascinating word in the English language. Today's word is comic. So let's dive right in. What does comic mean? Well, as a B2 level adjective, comic means funny or related to comedy. It describes something that is intended to cause laughter or amusement, or something that relates to the genre of comedy in general. Think of a comic book, a comic actor, or a comic situation. Now, let's look at some synonyms for comic. Words that have a similar meaning. We can use words like humorous, funny, witty, droll, and amusing. Let's see these synonyms in action. For example, instead of saying that was a comic play, we could say that was a humorous play. Or, instead of he's a comic actor, we could say he's a funny actor. Another example, she made a witty observation about the situation. Or, the clown had a droll expression on his face. And finally, the movie was very amusing. Notice how each of these words conveys a similar idea of something being funny or causing amusement. Now, let's switch gears and look at antonyms. Words that have the opposite meaning of comic. Some antonyms for comic include tragic, serious, solemn, pathetic, and melancholy. Let's see these antonyms in sentences. Instead of saying the situation was comic, we could say the situation was tragic. Think of a Shakespearean tragedy versus a Shakespearean comedy. Or, instead of he has a comic personality, we might say he has a serious personality. Consider this. The funeral was a solemn occasion. Or, his attempt to fix the problem was pathetic because it made things worse. Finally, the rainy weather made her feel melancholy. You can see how these antonyms convey a sense of sadness, gravity, or lack of humor, which is the opposite of comic. Now, let's explore how comic is used in everyday life. You might hear someone say, he's got a great comic timing, meaning he knows exactly when to say something to make it the funniest. Or, she's a big fan of comic books. You might describe a situation as a comic misunderstanding if it's a funny mix-up. Another common expression is to call someone a comic genius, meaning they're incredibly funny and talented in comedy. You might say the whole event was a comic opera if it was chaotic and farcical. Let's look at some more usage examples in sentences and phrases. The comic relief in the movie was provided by the sidekick. He drew a comic strip for the school newspaper. The play was a comic satire of modern politics. She has a comic way of looking at life. She always finds something to laugh about. The comic actor tripped on stage, but he recovered gracefully, and the audience laughed even harder. His comic portrayal of the villain was surprisingly effective. They specialize in comic book art. The situation had a comic edge to it, even though it was also a bit stressful. It was a comic sight to see him trying to assemble the furniture. The comic novel was a bestseller. The actor's comic talents shone through in every scene. The teacher used a comic approach to make the lesson more engaging. The movie is a blend of comic and dramatic elements. The comic routine was well rehearsed and perfectly executed. The situation became comic when they both tried to explain at the same time. The show is known for its comic dialogue and physical humor. He found the situation more comic than irritating. The accident was fortunately more comic than serious. The series explores the comic mishaps of everyday life. They're looking for someone with strong comic acting skills. This comic story lightened the mood considerably. His comic commentary kept everyone entertained. The comic element was cleverly woven into the narrative. It had a comic undertone despite its serious theme. Her comic presence on stage always draws a crowd. So, there you have it. We've explored the meaning of comic, looked at synonyms like humorous, funny, and witty, and antonyms like tragic, serious, and solemn. We've also seen how comic is used in everyday conversations and different contexts. Remember, comic means funny or related to comedy. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the word comic. Before we go, I have a small request. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others find the show and keeps us going. Also, I'd love to see you use the word comic in your own sentence. Share your sentence in the comments below the video. I look forward to reading them. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring the wonderful world of words.